All right, for the record, this is Values and Mindset with Web EU4 and Gabriel. We are having a discussion on Git, okay? So here, our project is hopelessly broken and there's a bug and nothing works, right? We time travel to the previous snapshot and everything is fine. So in order to track the bug, all we need to do is see the difference between this snapshot and this other snapshot. And because we take snapshots often, the change is usually very small. So instead of having to go through thousands of lines of code, we can just investigate the difference between two snapshots, which perhaps is just 10 lines of code. We have narrowed down the problem to 10 lines of code, right? And this is just, I'm not even scratching the surface. This doesn't even count as scratching the surface of all that Git does for us, right? This is just trying to motivate you guys a little bit. Any questions? Bum, 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 bum. Thank you so much, Nicholas. All right. Okay, cool. So understanding this, believing this is actually arguably at this point more important than understanding the technical steps themselves, because if we have a high level understanding of what it is we're trying to achieve, well, you know, steps are just steps. We'll get them eventually, right? Cool. So Git is this eyeball that allows us to track changes and create a series of snapshots, all right? Now, this series of snapshots, of course, lives on our own computer. This represents our computer, right? I'm going to make a drawing here to represent our project, which is this huge folder with many subfolders and files and so on and so forth, right? And then we have a series of snapshots we regularly take of the current state of the project, so we can time travel and diff between any two snapshots, right? However, what if our computer burns and crashes, right? Then the project is gone, okay? What about if we want to collaborate with other developers, right? If our series of snapshots, if our project lives on our local computer only, how can we ever collaborate? Does that make sense? So enter GitHub, okay? So let's not confuse Git with GitHub. Git allows us to get an eyeball going and create a series of snapshots of the project, among many other things, right? GitHub is a cloud service that allows us to have a copy of our series of snapshots up there in the cloud. This means if our computer were to burn, it would be fine because the series of snapshots of the entire project is safe on GitHub. That also means that if another developer, and this is another developer, this is a developer who's not us, this is another developer who wants to collaborate and work on the same project, well, all he needs to do is clone it from GitHub, and then he has the series of snapshots on his own computer, and he can collaborate with us, right? Furthermore, it's kind of a two-way communication. It's a two-way communication between the series of snapshots from now on repo, okay? Let's call the series of snapshots a repo, okay? It's a two-way communication between our local and GitHub, okay? Because we can clone a project from GitHub. We can clone a repo from GitHub, but we can also push code. We can push code to GitHub. So GitHub always has the latest and greatest. Okay, so Git at the end of the day is a command line tool, right? It's commands we run on the command line of our computer, right? Whereas GitHub is a cloud service, right? Which of course uses Git under the hood, and we use it to keep a cloud backup of our snapshots. Is this understood? Right? This is an example of how a theoretical high-level explanation of a tool might go down. Okay. No questions. I must be the best teacher in the entire universe, which of course I'm not. So, Okay, cool. Now, what are we going to move on discussing? So, at Lambda, and this is a source of pain on the very first week, right? On Lambda, we use GitHub. We use GitHub, the cloud service GitHub, right, to keep a cloud backup, right, of a number of projects, right? So this is a series of snapshots representing one project, another series of snapshots representing another project, right? Say this is Monday. This is Monday's project, Monday's afternoon project, right? Or this is Tuesday. This is Tuesday's afternoon project, right? So Lambda has a GitHub account and keeps afternoon projects on their GitHub account. Okay. I think what happens if two people are making changes at the same time and they are different? Bum, 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 bum. Well, a conflict is what happens in a nutshell. But the changes can't really be pushed really at the same time. A change will always come one in front of the other, right? So there are conflicts for sure in the workflow of Git and GitHub, but there are defenses against this scenario, which is a very interesting scenario, from happening, because normally developers work in such a way this is unlikely. Okay, so and because this is such an interesting question, I will do what I shouldn't and I will deviate, right? So say this is a series of snapshots of a particular huge project. There's 100 developers working on this project, right? So actually, this series of snapshots can take branches left and right. I mean, you can branch off from any point in the project. Right. Which means whenever one of those 100 developers gets tasked with fixing a bug or adding a feature, right? So usually you will go to the tip of the most important branch, which is called master, right? The most important branch usually, sometimes, often keeps what's actually in production. Not always, of course, but just to keep to hammer down on the importance of the master branch. Sometimes it's the state of affairs on the production server, right? The actual real life application the users are interacting with. Well, the tip of master, this snapshot. Remember, each ball is nothing but a snapshot of the entire project, right? So that ball represents the state of the code you see in production. So when you as a developer get tasked with something, right, normally you branch out into your own branch and start fleshing out your feature. This is a feature branch. You start fleshing out your feature on your own branch. So when you push additional snapshots, right, you are never really ever interfering with the work of another developer, right? So this is another developer who was given a task a little bit earlier in time. So he or she branched off of an older commit than you, and this is his own or her own feature branch. So they don't interfere. They don't interfere. The spot where the interference actually happens is when those features are done and need to be merged back into master, right? Both of these features, once they're done, they need to go back to master, right? Which will cause, master to suddenly receive, this is master, master will receive a ton of snapshots, right, from your feature branches. And sometimes when merging back into master, this is when a conflict might occur, all right? But that is a very special moment, and usually it's the leader of the team who takes care of merging branches back into master, all right? Or, I mean, there's many defenses, and it's actually not that bad at all, okay? So that's that. Anyone has any other questions? Okay. Let's go back to the Lambda Git flow. All right. To recap, we are discussing. I'm going to be demonstrating the Git and GitHub operations we need to do every day, every afternoon. Right? Every afternoon, we have a project and it uses Git and GitHub. So we need to do a series of Git and GitHub operations, right? So right now I'm just providing background, right? So Lambda, as we said, has a GitHub account holding a bunch of repos, right? A repo is a project which is basically a chain of snapshots. I'm going to start calling these snapshots commits. These balls, each ball representing the entire project at a point in time, those balls are commits, right? So your project Monday is just a chain of commits, and we need to get it to our computer somehow, and it takes several steps. So you have your own GitHub account on GitHub, right? Let's say Demos. This is Demos GitHub. This is Demos GitHub right there, right? And imagine he has no repos, okay? So in order to do a project, an afternoon project, for example, Monday, Demos, first thing he needs to do is get the Lambda repo for Monday into his GitHub account, right? So I'm painting the arrows there, right? That's the chain of commits, making it into Demos's GitHub, right? Lambda has a GitHub, you have your own GitHub. This operation is called forking. It's actually simply making a clone of the Lambda repo to your own GitHub, right? This is just cloning. Cloning between GitHub accounts, right? And cloning between GitHub accounts is called forking in the GitHub lingo, all right? Any questions regarding this first step? Step one, fork. All right. Step two, get the code to your computer, right? It's so excellent that the project lives on GitHub, right? But in order for us to be able to work with it, it needs to come down to our local computer, right? Otherwise, how are we ever going to work on it? So here, down below, is Demos local. And by local, I mean his computer, his physical computer, okay? Now, we need to get the repo. We need to get the repo down to his local, right? From his own GitHub, like so, all right? And this operation is called cloning, right? Right? Basically, cloning between a GitHub repo and the local. So it's like two cloning operations, right? One between GitHub accounts and the other from the GitHub to our local. Is this understood? All right, so forking and cloning. Okay, I'm gonna test you now. Cloning between GitHub accounts is called, come on, type it for me. Forking. All right, excellent, excellent, excellent. Cloning between GitHub and local is called cloning. All right, okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. So are you, okay. All right, so let's see this in action. Now, this is only going to work for you if you have a GitHub account on the one hand and you are logged in. So if you wish to follow along, double check that you are logged into your own GitHub account. Okay, I'm going to perform that check myself. I'm going to navigate over to GitHub. And this is actually the Lambda GitHub, right? See all the repos the Lambda account contains, right? But I actually want to go to my own. I'm signed in as Ladrillo. That's my GitHub handle, right? So I can come over to my profile or my repos, right? And here I have a bunch of repos inside of my own GitHub. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to just sit back and give guys a few seconds to confirm that you are logged in to GitHub. But if you hit a snag because you don't have an account or anything, do not panic. Okay. Do not panic. It's fine. We're recording this. All right. And this is not a real lesson anyway. Okay. Okay, cool. Back to GitHub. Okay. So I think I'm ready. I'm ready to tackle the forking, right? Going from yeah, sure thing. Going from finding myself a Lambda project to work on and forking it to my own GitHub. All right. So let's find us a project. Right. Afternoon projects, as you guys know, live under there. Okay. So let's find us an afternoon project. I'm going to go start from scratch. Go to Lambda, full stack web development, web fundamentals. This is like the first 4 weeks of class, right? So there's the first week right there, user interface and Git. And there's instruction going on from Monday all the way to Thursday. These are these 4 days, right? Let's click on the second day, right? And I'm going to just sit back and wait for you guys to locate this spot on TrainKit. I can answer questions in the meantime. Now the second risk, I'm about to move on and then, oh, I'm falling behind, panic. Do not panic. It's all right, okay? in case anyone is having a snag dealing with a sidebar of training kit, I'm just simply going to select you the link to the page. Let me just get in there. All right. So I'm going to go into user interface 2, the second day right there. And this is Tuesday. This is the Tuesday lesson for next week, user interface 2. And you can see it has an afternoon project as usual. And I will Slack the link at this point over to you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the link. And that scrolls me way down to this area right here. And here we have a link to somewhere. If I hit it, whoa! And and all I did was click on this link right there, which I got to by going into project. And we are here, user interface 2. The link is on the Slack. Okay. Cool. So this opened up a page on GitHub. If we take a look at the URL, we can see we are definitely at github.com, right? We are on the Lambda School GitHub, right? And this is one specific repo, also known as chain of snapshots. This page we're seeing gives us access to the chain of snapshots that makes up this particular project, this particular repo on the Lambda account. All right, so I'm about to perform the forking. I'm about to perform the forking, and there should be a fork button somewhere in here. I can't find it. Oh, I'm so overwhelmed by all this stuff. Oh, check it out. It's right there. Okay. I'm not going to press it yet. I'm not going to press this button yet, but I'm going to do it in a few seconds. And as soon as I do, this step will happen. All right. The GitHub, the repo will be copied from the Lambda School GitHub to my own GitHub. All right. Cool. So I'm about to press the button now. Fork. Boom. And well, I don't know about you guys. Perhaps you're seeing something different. I'm getting asked, where should we fork user interface? And there is my GitHub account, my personal GitHub account. So I say, yeah, sure, do it right there. Okay. Forking Lambda School user interface. Bum, 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 bum. Boom. All right. It happened. The page looks like it hasn't changed much, right? See the name of the repo right there? But check it out. That's my own personal GitHub account. Okay. And it furthermore, it just says it right there, right? Forked from Lambda School / user interface. Okay. So I won't deviate. I won't deviate. You can always work from a command line, always. The question is, usually, is there GUI for this thing I want to do? There's always a command line way, but let's not deviate. Let's, I'm going to ask you guys, did you fork successfully? Okay. And give me a thumbs up there. Whoop. Yeah, or whatever you can type yes, or you can just give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so, okay, we're there. We're here. Happy face. Now let's come here. Let's clone. So we forked, let's clone the repo to our computer so that we might work on it. All right. So yeah. So the way we do that, and don't feel overwhelmed now, okay? You might feel like I'm going a little fast. On your own GitHub user interface, there should be a big old green button right there. Okay. If you expand it, you get this model, and we want to perform a few checks. We want to clone with HTTPS, right? There are other options like SSH. It's an organization decision usually, what technique to use for a particular project or projects or whatnot, right? So we are just going to use HTTPS, right? And we should have a link there and a button, and this button will copy the entire link to our clipboard, all right? So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're simply going to grab the URL and put it in our buffer or clipboard. Okay. Give you guys a second to move away from my screen and go ahead and do it. A two-monitor setup, of course, will be very useful. Okay. Cool. So I'll do it myself now. I'm here. I hit the green button. I'm cloning with HTTPS, and we will hit that big old button there. Now, another snag. We need to find ourselves a command line. Bum, 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 bum. Did you locate your command line? Did you locate your command line? In the case of the Mac, that would be this little fellow right there, the terminal. The terminal down there, that is my command line. Okay. So I'm going to open up my command line, and perhaps you're panicking now. I don't have a command line. What's that? Where do I get it from? I'm on Windows. Help, help. Do not panic. Just sit back and relax, all right? Just watch. The way we perform the third step for real, we haven't cloned anything yet. All we have done is put a silly URL in our buffer. We haven't cloned anything yet. The actual cloning is performed on the command line. On the command line, okay? It's a command we got to enter on the command line. The cloning, very different from the forking, which we use the mushy, the cushy GUI on GitHub, right? Now we gotta find our command line. I'm yapping to give you extra time to find your command line. Now for the command, bum, 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 okay? So the command needs for you to have Git installed on your computer. If you don't have Git, this is going to fail, right? Now, I'm going to locate a cozy spot on my computer to clone this project, right? So in order to do that, first, I will try and find out where I'm at, right? I'm going to ask the command line the question, where I'm at, pwd. If you can, type work alongside me, right? Hit enter. And I'm rather satisfied with my current location, right? This is the path from the very root of your file system, right? Inside of a users folder, inside of a Gabriel folder, that is the location. That is the location right now. This is where I'm at. And I believe this is a great spot to clone the project. So I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to issue the clone command from right this location because I'm actually happy with where I'm at. I will go and type git clone space, and I will paste the URL which got into my buffer by pressing this button, right? When I press this button, this is what made it to my buffer, right? So I'm typing git space clone space in the URL, okay? And hit enter. And I'll let you guys time to do the same. And it seems to have succeeded. It seems to have succeeded. All right. Whatever works, whatever works. Okay, so the dream is accomplished. We're here. We're here. We can start working. We can start working. Okay. So now we have ourselves a new series of steps we got to do, right? The project is on our local. We have a chain of commits on our local. Right? Let's erase. Right? Let's say your chain of commits looks like that, right? And your GitHub looks like that. So now you will actually, the project, if you go back to the GitHub page, the project comes with a bunch of instructions, right? So this will have you basically code stuff. You will have to do stuff on the project, right? Which means we will be adding extra snapshots to the project in our local. Okay. So what happens after we are done? After we are done for the afternoon, and our team lead needs to be able to see what you did, right? The way your team lead is able to see what you did is by using a mechanism called a pull request. Right? A pull request allows us to see the difference between any two commits, right? So a pull request can be made between the master on GitHub, and I will represent that by GitHub/master, and your local /master. A pull request will graphically compute the difference between your GitHub right there and your local right there. And of course, it'll be these three commits, and it'll be displayed in a very graphical manner, right? So that is a pull request. All right. Do we understand what a pull request is at a high level? Right. This will allow your team lead to see your work in the form of a difference, between two commits. This commit right here and this commit right here. Okay? It's a diff. Okay. Yes, but don't ping me though. Don't ping me because I periodically go back to the questions thread to ensure that I'm not leaving anyone in the dust. But we do need to use we need to use this guy on the one hand and avoid pinging your instructor. I'm not calling you out. This is simulation. This is simulation, so it's fine. It's a simulation, so it's fine. But unless it's an emergency, right? An emergency. Like, for example, not recording, or instructor muted but yapping, right? Or another example of an emergency, or instructor drawing, but he's displaying the wrong thing, or he's not even sharing his or her screen, right? So these are examples of emergencies, right? So then you ping. Then you would go, hey, Gabe, right? If it's not an emergency, if it's just a question, just type it out there. Just type it out there. Hey, you repeat that bit about pull requests, whatever, right? But don't ping because that is extremely distracting to the instructor. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at. Yeah, that looks great. That looks just like mine. All right, done. Done. Yep. So if you guys cloned successfully, and if you guys understand what a pull request actually is, and I will draw it again because it's so important. So important. And because again, the number of steps involved are so many that if you at least have a solid conceptual understanding of the concepts, that serves as kind of a guiding light. So this is my local, and this is my GitHub. The GitHub contains the project which I forked, right? The project which I forked from the Lambda GitHub, looks like that, right? And then through cloning, I got a copy to my own laptop computer, right? Of course, throughout the afternoon, I will work, which means adding extra snapshots to the project, right? If you forget to commit, if you forget to make commits regularly, you will just have one single huge commit, huge in the sense that that the difference between these two commits will be huge, right? If you forget to commit regularly, you will have what's called a monster commit, right? Where there's lots of changes. These are best avoided, right? It's way better if we all remember to commit regularly. So this is the end of day, right? This right here is the end of day, right? And we created a series of commits on top of the commits that came to the computer when I cloned, right? The pull request mechanism allows your team lead to see the difference between your GitHub and your local. Furthermore, between your GitHub/master, because remember, there exist branches. We're on master by default, and we are not branching. In this explanation, we're not even branching off or anything like that, right? But we're on GitHub/master or local/master. This is your computer right here. So a pull request is the diff between your GitHub/master, right? These three guys, and your GitHub, and your, in your local computer/master. Basically, the diff between this there on GitHub and this down here in your computer. That is the difference between those two commits can be represented through a pull request. And of course, that boils down to these three extra commits which you added, right? It's just that the team lead is going to be able to visualize your work very easily. All right, that's the pull request. Cool. Yeah, let's see. We are taking a lot of time with this, right? You guys are going to have to do a whole lot of reading on values and mindset this afternoon. All right. Brr. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we're ready for break. Is committing just regularly saving? Nope. Committing is its own Git operation, which we perform while we work, right? And I think it's best that we see it after a break. And yeah, let's do it. Let's take a 5-minute breather. All right, we are back. I'm turning on my camera, so should you.
Sorry, Gabe, I've got a question. It's
Yes,
I'm not really
please.
sure how to word it. So if we're working through the material that's on GitHub and we're working at a faster pace than what the schedule is, can we work ahead of time? That makes sense.
Like for example, it's Monday. I'm done with my Monday's afternoon project. Perhaps tackle Tuesday's afternoon project, something
Yeah.
like this. So there shouldn't. Okay, so it's a scenario that actually doesn't play out because each day, the afternoon project contains what are called stretch goals. Those are additional tasks of exponentially increasing difficulty, which will keep you busy.
Oh yeah, I think I have vaguely seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So normally the stretch goals are hard enough. I mean, they're optional, obviously. They're not required to meet MVP, right? Like minimum viable product.
Yeah.
For the day, right? So, but yeah, it shouldn't play out because the stretch goals should keep you busy.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, you guys want to continue with pull requests? Okay, let's do it. No one says no, so I assume that's a yes. We haven't, to be clear, we haven't done the pull request yet, right? All we've done actually is clone the project to our computer. We haven't added any additional commits or anything like that. So this is what we just did. And Rodrigo was kind enough to point out that this doesn't even exist in Windows, this PWD. Well, perhaps just clone the project wherever you land on the command line. Just, I hope you're able to find it afterwards. Okay, so once the project is cloned, all we would need to do is open it up in Visual Studio Code and start adding commits, and we will do that. I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code right here, VS Code, right? Okay, and let me just show it to you guys, right? Use your shortcut, whatever you need to do. There's the editor, all right? So I need to open up the project. So let's do File, Open, and then I will go fishing around the hard drive because the cloning operation, actually I created a fresh folder I can find using the GUI, right? So inside of my Gabriel folder, this user interface folder got created, right? So now you would need to go fishing for it. You need to open Visual Studio Code, File, Open, and try to locate the freshly cloned project. Okay, so I'm just going to open it up. And there's the project right there. All right, and I am going to demonstrate creating a commit, right? I'm just going to create a single commit. I'm going to create a single commit and then go ahead and do a pull request right afterwards, right? But normally we would add many commits, right? And create a pull request at the end of the day. But just, I'm just going to do the minimum work and change something, commit the changes, and make a pull request straight away, all right? So let's change something. I don't know. I'm just going to get inside this folder, go to index.html, and and there's this file opening up, and I'm just going to make random changes. Right? Great idea indeed. I'm just going to make a bunch of silly changes. It doesn't really matter. Log, right? Now I'm following the instructions. The project for the day has me do these changes, so I'm complying. Get started already. I'm complying with the instructions of the day, which are on the README. Right? The README shows up go back to where you cloned the project, back where you found the green button. If you scroll down, these are the instructions. This is what you need to do, right? So now I'm here in Visual Studio Code, basically doing it, right? I'm doing the project. Yeah, let's change that to 2019. And perhaps we can add something like a heading H1, right? Like hello web EU4, right? So just, make any changes you wish, right, to the project and save them. I always have autosave turned on. So I'm just going to give you a few seconds to open up the project and do silly changes. You can do changes to any files you wish, as many as you want. Change anything you want. Just make sure you save your changes after you're done, right? Either by hitting save or turning on autosave. Okay. So now, if we opened the Visual Studio Code at the right location, right, I can pop a terminal window right here within the editor. So we don't need to go back to the command to a different window to start typing git commands. And I'm about to make a commit, and that's a command line operation. And I have a choice. I can either go back to where I cloned and move into the folder, right? And I have to CD. This will make me move. Oops, where do I know? Sorry about that. Where do I CD? I'm going to CD into this folder called user interface, right? That moves me into the user interface folder, right? I can confirm that by pwd on the Mac, right? And we can see we are indeed inside the user interface folder. So I can start typing git commands right here, right? Or simpler than all of this, I can simply use VS Code's terminal and go to the terminal menu up here and selecting terminal, right? The advantage of doing this from Visual Studio Code is that the terminal is already at the right location, right? PWD, and we can see the location is, well, right inside the project folder. I need to issue git commands at the right location, all right? So how do we create a commit? Are you guys ready to proceed? More or less. And again, if you're hitting snags left and right and can't follow along exactly, it's all right, just watch. So each commit, each of these, right, is a two-step operation. It's two commands on the command line, two commands, each of these snapshots, all right? I'll demonstrate. One, step, and remember to save your changes. If you do not save your changes, this is not gonna work. Do git add dot. Well, that wasn't so bad. That would be step one. All right, that would be step one. Step two is a little bit longer. It would be git commit -m, and then between quotes, some kind of a message. Like for example, did all the work required? Between quotes like that. Okay, so that would be step two, right? Each of these snapshots, each of these circles requires the two steps. Add your changes to the staging area and actually committing. Why is it that two-step operation instead of an easier one-step operation? Because on the first step, perhaps you don't want to add all of your changes that you did to create the commit. Perhaps you changed 3 different files and want to create 3 separate snapshots or something like that. There's many possibilities, but the reality of life is that it is a two-step operation like that, which I'm just going to perform. And that seems to have succeeded. Right. Oh, actually, that got me the commit, right? So in a normal flow, we would keep working, and every now and then, we would do the two steps again. Perhaps, I don't know, 5 or 6 times at least throughout the afternoon. Git add, dot, git commit dash m with a message, right? A bunch of times. So with this knowledge, we know, right? So GitHub started like that. We cloned to our local, so we got those commits. Then we started piling additional commits. How are we doing? Are we able to add and commit? Any questions? All right. So I'm going to show you what a pull request is going to look like. And I'm not going to follow through the entire Git flow for next week because we are honestly running out of time. But just let me show you why are we going through all this, right? Now on your command line, go ahead and type git diff. Let me see. Okay, git, it's a longer command. Git diff head in that squiggly line right there.
Typo.
Eh?
You have a typo.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, there it is. Oops, another one. All right. This is not the actual pull request, but that is kind of what the pull request will look like in the eyes of your team lead that is looking at your work, right? You can see the code here. This is a line that got replaced, right? We started out with great idea on its own, and that changed into great idea indeed, right? Inside the body of the HTML, we added an H1 heading in there, right? Keep scrolling down. Where are we getting great idea indeed again? Here's this hello web EU4 which we added. I don't know, why is it so, where is it showing twice? I don't know. Let me just Control C. I'm typing, okay. Keep going. I'm still stuck inside this world where I'm seeing the diff until I reach the end, right? But this is basically the difference between what it was. This is basically showing just the things that changed, whether they got replaced, whether they got added, or whether they simply got deleted. We don't have any pure deletions here, but we can see the changes, all right? In order to get out of here, all we need to do is type Q, right? And that'll help us escape the diff world we got ourselves into, right? So this which we did was not a real pull request. What it was, we visualized the difference between these two commits, right? But in reality, we only created one commit, so those two guys didn't even exist, right? But that's the idea, being able to see the difference between any two given commits with with this command. Let me just type it out again. That is all we did. And this only works, of course, if we were able to successfully create a commit. Okay, so this was a very gentle introduction to part of the flow we need to do every day, okay? And so what did you guys think? What did you guys think? Find it easy, hard, too fast, the instruction, too slow? Prepare psychologically for instruction to move faster than this, okay? This was actually rather slow. This is meant to make actual instruction of Git in the Git flow a little bit less scary and painful and overwhelming, and also just to demonstrate a little bit of instruction, actual instruction, right? So what did you guys think? Okay, who got over? Who hit a technical snag? Can someone who hit a technical snag right from the get-go share his or her experience?
I'll go for it. Mine just, when I tried to upload it, it just said that it couldn't find the repository. But I'm sure that's probably something that I've done. I'll figure it out. I'll find it. Anyone
else? Well, that was pretty late in the process. You almost got there to the end, right?
Yeah.
Who can beat you? Who can beat you? Who hit a snag earlier? Go ahead.
Oh, earlier, it was the opposite. It was later. When I pushed, I couldn't push because I have two-factor authentication on my GitHub. So I had to generate the token.
But we never pushed. I never taught push. What are you guys doing pushing? We never discussed pushing. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is a highly simplified, we didn't branch, we didn't push. On the real Git flow involves branching off of master, involves pushing. We didn't touch any of these things yet, right? I can actually make a quick recording showing the complete flow like in 3 minutes. So it'll be a really short recording for you guys to refer to and try out over the weekend. How would you guys like that?
That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, and I think, and again, it's all right because on the first day, on the first stand up, remember, you will meet with your team lead in really small groups. And you will do one-on-ones with your team lead, so your team lead can take you step by step over the whole process. So you're never going to be, again, we got you, whatever happens. But yeah, if you could figure out the complete Git flow for projects over the weekend, that will give you a lot of relief for next week and in the coming weeks. We wouldn't have as much overhead. So yeah, I think we'll do that. Cool. Any other questions? Oh, who? Okay, so was someone able to diff, to go all the way to the end where I use the command line to diff the changes? Right? If you got all the, so were we able to see, to use the command line to diff the old state of the code and the new state of the code? And get out of the diff world by using Q? Okay, I'll stop harassing you. Part 2 of today is forms. Let's take a quick look at that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll go over to the calendar. Take a look at WebEU4. Let's take a look at WebEU4, say, next week, right? So this is what next week looks like, right? So on any given day, right, you have an hour where you read TK, you go through the materials of the day, and then comes the guided project, which is kind of what we're simulating now. Okay, then there's lunch, and then project time. Remember, get started don't take a long lunch because then you'll run out of time. All right. So this is the block we're going to discuss now. This is the part we haven't simulated yet. Okay, the project wrap up and so this involves submitting a form with some information, and the reason we didn't simulate this earlier is because I didn't know where the form was. But it turns out if I click on the event on the calendar, the form is right here, and I didn't know that. Okay, so I'm just going to, and it probably shows up for you as well. So I'm going to click on the link, but I'm also going to Slack. I'm also going to Slack the link to the channel in case you hit a snag with your calendar, okay, or you can't find the red calendar or whatnot. Okay, there's the link. Right. And if we click it, this is an example of the form we fill out at the end of project and before stand-up, right? Basically, this part. Okay. So it's a very simple form, and so first we add ourselves, right? Let's do, and yeah, find yourself inside of here. Find yourself. You should show up. You should show up. Let's do Rodrigo. Let's see if Rodrigo is there. And if you're not showing up, you will show up. Oh, there's Rodrigo. I'm going to submit something in your name. No, I'm not going to submit it. Of course, I'm not going to submit it. Okay. So what did you study today? So I'm Rodrigo. Then I have to find whatever it is that I studied on that particular day. So if it's next week, right? Let's say I'm on Tuesday of next week and I studied user interface 2, right? I would have to find user interface 2 somewhere in there. Okay, let's see, user interface. And Airtable sometimes takes a little bit of time to find the stuff. There it is, bum bum, user interface 2, right? Woohoo! Excellent. Next, how are you feeling today? Right, so most days you'll you know, I mean, I don't know, it depends. This is up to you. This is up to you. Be true, be honest to yourself, and tell us the truth. And because
great. I'm feeling great.
Oh, thank you, Rodrigo. You're feeling great. This is great. Okay. Did you pair program today? Mark, if you worked with a partner on today's project. Well, if you pair programmed on the project, yeah, why not? Hit the check mark there. Now, what's the URL for your submission of today's project? Normally this will be a link that will take to a pull request. All that we discussed about making it easy for the team lead to visualize the difference between your starting point and your ending point in your code, right? That all at the end of the day comes down to a URL, to a pull request, which you will drop right in there. Right? These days we haven't been working on repositories. We've been working on Google Docs, right? So if you guys wanted to make a submission at the end of day today, let's go back to today, right? So if you want to after project time today, right? If you want to make the submission, if you want to make an actual submission, which you're welcome to do, okay? So it wouldn't be user interface 2, of course. This is not right? If you would have to find values and mindset that is what we're doing today. So let me search for values and mindset. Values and, there it is, values and mindset, right? This is what you studied today. I'm feeling great. I'm a Rodrigo imposter, and I say I'm feeling great. I did not pair program, so I'm not going to check it. And this would be the link to the Google Doc in this afternoon's project. Your copy of the Google Doc, right? But normally it'll be a PR, a pull request. Next, interrupt me with any questions. Although your team lead will be the forms expert, right? On a scale of 1 to 3, how would you rate your project submission, right? And this, you rate yourself, right? And this is how you rate yourself. On a scale of 1 to 3, how would you rate your overall performance in understanding today? Same thing. It's a very easy scoring system with a 1, 2, 3 scale, right? Here, what did you finish today? This is, and again, your team lead will give you hints on what to put in there to maximize the usefulness of this particular data point, right? But this is, well, I was able to do this, to make a commit and see the diff with the previous commit, right? What do you need to finish before tomorrow? Still need to push to my GitHub. Whatever. Anything blocking you or breakthroughs you'd like to share, right? And anything else we should know about, right? So, so we review these every day, right? So there's actual people reading all of this every day, right? So, so yeah, yeah, the more real your answers are, right? The more useful for everybody involved, right? This form is an important part of the whole business of keeping track of you and making sure you're doing okay. And a lot of it you'll find is kind of subjective. A lot of it is kind of subjective. It's more alarming. It's more alarming if you're feeling horrible, right, than if your code is horrible. Well, if your code is horrible, well, you know, that's easy to fix. If you're feeling horrible, well, that, you know, we need to know. We need to know how you're feeling. So be, you know, take this form, be real with this form, right? And I know it sucks because we have to fill it out every single day, but every single day, try and be real about it and not do a routine exercise of just blah, 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 filling it out in 3 minutes and getting it over with, right? Make sense? Any questions regarding the form? Okay, so what do you guys say? We take a short break and then we take a look at today's training kit materials. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and let's take a breather.
Rodrigo?
Yes.
Hello.
If you go to Google Calendar and you go to Project Wrap and click it, then you will see the link.
Okay, Project Wrap. Oh, complete your daily stand-up report.
Yep.
Okay.
And there's another thing to consider, right? There's we don't have it this week, but there will be a chat bot, a bot. There will be a bot on the channel every day, like, oh, remember, now it's time to fill out your forms, right? And it should provide a link as well.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we are back in business. So looking for questions on the forums. I realized I missed a few questions on the questions thread. Let's rewind a little bit. We answered this one, and we shouldn't have to reverse commits, right? If you make a change and commit, right, and then decide you don't like that commit, well, you know, undo the change manually on the code and create another commit. Does that make sense, my friend? So reversing a commit, honestly, is not something you should be doing often, right? There are legitimate reasons for undoing a commit. Perhaps the commit message is bad, right? Commits can be traced to the, you know, you can trace the developer. You can always find the developer responsible for a particular commit, right? Suppose you make a commit which contains a totally unprofessional commit message with swearing and things like that. Perhaps you want to undo the commit so you can add a better message or who knows what, right? But once you push your commits over to GitHub, the whole business of reversing commits becomes more complicated. So don't get into the mindset of reversing commits, right? If it's code, we want code changes to the code. Well, you know, there's other ways. There's other ways. Okay, where do I find the squiggly line for command? The tilde. Yes. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, we can copy and paste from there. Okay, cool. Yeah, we need to find these things on our keyboard. Thank you so much for assisting there, Emma and everybody. Okay. Okay, we got that. Okay, we're updated. Any questions regarding, any lingering concerns regarding the forms? And we have it pretty good because in the past, Airtable would be extremely slow and it would sometimes take forever to fill out the form because of the slowness of the application, but it seems to have been fixed. So that is great, right? Okay, values and mindset. Let's take a look. Today's materials make for really good reading, right? You should have used your pre-lecture time should have allowed you to read a nice little chunk of it, right? And you should finish reading it. You should finish reading it. There's a lot of great things in here. Let's take a look. So these are the company's core values here, right? So because sometimes the world is complicated. It's nice that a company is clear on the things on its actual deep values, and that they sometimes guide decisions, right? When things get complicated. These are our values right here. This is us, or this is what we try to be. So take a look at that. Leaving feedback. Well, here's the code of conduct, right? Let's take a quick look. Participate. The more you participate actively, the more you engage with other students and staff, the better. All right. Complete all coursework is required. Ask for help. Okay, so depending on our personality, we might have trouble asking for help. I know I do. Right. So my personality type is that I will spend hours and hours in the abyss sometimes, stuck before asking for help. I will take a long time until I decide to ask for help. So I sometimes have to compensate for this. I'm aware of this. I try and compensate. Ask for help in a reasonable amount of time. You remember the 20-minute rule? If you get stuck with a code, for example, get bloody, but then ask for help. Use the help channel, and in general, reach out to your team lead and use the help channel. Above all, use the help channel. Okay. Integrity. You cannot use code you did not write, so don't copy and paste code from the internet. All right. Plagiarism. If a student is caught copying code from staff or other students or submitted work that is not their own, a member of student success will evaluate the situation and based on but it's worse, right? If you just copy and paste from the internet and simply try and copy your way through, the hard reality is that well, you're unlikely to find a job that way, right? Because yes, you might reach the end of the program by copying, but it is unlikely that you have acquired the right knowledge and the right skill, right? So you're likely to bomb the interview, and it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work, right? Professionalism, no harassment policy. So make sure you read through all of this, all right? Communication, you're expected to regularly communicate regarding your daily process. You'll see, all right? So code of conduct, right? So yeah, make sure you read it. Be aware that if a student gets removed from the program on account of violations of the code of conduct, right? So you're still responsible for your ISA, right? For the part of the ISA, depending on how long you've been on the program. So if you've been on the program for many weeks, right? The first weeks have elapsed, and then the additional weeks until you're responsible for 100% of your ISA. If you were to be, I don't know, removed from Lambda because you I don't know, because you started harassing a fellow student or something like that, well, you would still be 100% responsible for the ISA. Okay, so we have to be clear on that part. Your income share agreement or tuition refund will be prorated as described in the ISA frequently asked questions of the user manual, right? Cool. So engagement opportunities, learn to clearly articulate why the student chosen to attend Lambda school. This goes back to what we did on the first day. So you want a job in code. Everybody has a why. So this is all great reading. We can't possibly go over all of it. How to ask for help at Lambda school. The short answer is use the help channel for technical help. Use the help channel. Okay, and for non-technical help, either ping your team lead or use front desk. Okay, ping your team lead for situations like I must miss class because I have a family emergency or something like that. You reach your team lead for that, right? For questions regarding refunds or loaner laptops, you would use front desk. Makes sense? And of course, everything we discussed yesterday regarding asking questions properly, right? Vague, overarching problems are not solvable, right? And they force the other person to start asking a million questions so that they can get at the heart of the issue, right? Construct a plan to meet your physical, financial, and social, and emotional needs. Read all of this. Sleep, food, security, right? Belonging, make sure, esteem, right? So it's going to be a trip. It's going to be a trip, and it's going to be hard at times. So get some kind of support system going, all right? And assume that it's going to be hard, and count for that, all right? Explore time management skills that will increase your ability to learn, right? And this is great stuff here in Training Kit, but of course, there's a million books on time management and things like that. So we are basically cramming 2 years of training into a 9-month program. So it is vital that we manage time correctly, because we're going to have to be doing so much, right? The Pomodoro technique, great stuff, great ideas and suggestions. Study skills, right? Interrupt me at any point with anything, okay? Just to confirm, the pull request link is the same as the Git clone. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. How to make, so we didn't really get to the point of creating an actual pull request. My commitment to you guys is that I will make a quick recording with the whole process, right? A short video, something like a 5-minute video with a whole process all from cloning, from forking and cloning to making commits and creating the actual pull request, so that you can have a short video to refer to and try and work over the weekend, right? So yeah, we didn't even get to push. We didn't even get to push our code, much less create our pull request, okay? How to make use of code we find on internet without falling into plagiarism. So, well, you know, so I guess I would say common sense applies, right? So for example, there's this thing called regular expressions. Regular expressions are tools that allow us, for example, to check that an email is legit, right? And I'm going to search for that. Regex for email. Right? Regex are patterns we use to investigate strings, right? So a regex would help us, for example, tell whether a string contains a valid email address, right? Let's take a look. So regex expressions are usually very complicated things. Oh my goodness. Seriously? Okay. Let me just get a incognito tab going on there. Na, 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 na. I mean, seriously, I'm never coming back to this site again. Okay. How about this one? I'm interested in Stack Overflow. Site stackoverflow.com. Okay. How to validate an email address using a regular expression. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is an example of a regular expression. There are people out there, right, with superhuman abilities that can come up with these things. This horrible, atrocious thing allows us to know whether a string contains an email, a legit email address or not, right? Brutal. Are we expected to be able to come up with this stuff on our own? Of course not. We come to the internet and we copy and paste it. Makes sense? Makes sense? However, so this is one extreme, and we are answering this question in regards to I'm giving examples of how to use the internet and plagiarism and Stack Overflow code, right? So that would be fine. That would be fine. However, going online to find a Lambda sprint challenge, remember those Friday challenges we will be taking every week, okay? So going to the internet to try and find a solution for a sprint challenge and then copying and pasting from there, now that, on the other hand, that would be bad. Does that make sense? So I would say in regards to plagiarism and copying and pasting from the internet, I would say common sense applies, right? Of course, we copy and paste from the internet massively. Okay, what we don't do is use the internet so we don't have to think through a problem Lambda School is asking you to think through, right? Lambda School will never ask you to come up with a regular expression to check emails. Lambda School will ask you to solve some kind of problem on your own, and if you go online to find the thing, so you can just copy and paste and not think through the problem, that's when it gets bad. Is this a good answer, my friend? So that small video is just to help us, right? Because we will learn in another class, right? Okay, so Rodrigo. Okay, so so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let's go back to, this is Monday, all right? For the Monday project, we're still not using GitHub for that project, right? As you just saw, for Tuesday, we are using a project from GitHub, okay? However, do you see something interesting? Where is the instruction for the Git part? That comes on Friday. So Friday is the dedicated day on Git. But we're still going to have to make pull requests on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, you get the idea. So yes, we will teach formally the whole thing on Friday, but you have to get bloody on Tuesday and no, this is Thursday. I apologize, guys. I'm slightly fried. This is user interface 2 is Monday. This is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. And this is Thursday, right? Because Friday is the sprint challenge, right? So this is instruction. Formal Git instruction happens on Thursday, right? But in order to submit pull requests on Tuesday and Wednesday, we need to kind of get a handle on the whole Git flow before Thursday, right? So here, your team lead will help you, right? So the team lead will guide you, if necessary, through step by step through the whole thing, right? The 5-minute video, which I'm going to prepare to you guys, serves the purpose that you can take a stab at it over the weekend, so you can just hit the ground running on Tuesday and be like, oh, I already know how to do this, all right? If we copy something similar to the regex you have shown, do we have to reference it? No, that's fine. That's fine. That's just fine. That's just fine. Any other questions regarding copying and pasting from the internet, plagiarism, or anything like that?
I've got a quick question. It's not really a
Yes,
question,
sir.
but it is sort of a question. So if we're all doing the same challenge at the end of the week, yeah?
Yes.
There isn't infinite answers to the same question. So we'll all be submitting practically the same answer. So does that class as plagiarism? You know, where did you find the line between it not being plagiarism and it being plagiarism?
But plagiarism would be if you copied your companion's solution or something like that, right? I still guide me through your.
Basically, we are both given the same task.
Yes.
We do it, and it's basically exactly the same answer because there isn't infinite possibilities of different answers, is there?
Oh. No, I mean, but I still don't understand. Like.
I've not really explained it very well. I don't know how to explain it, but it's.
I know what you mean.
No.
So basically, there's 10 people. They're all given the same challenge. Yeah, we all do the challenge individually, but the answers are practically the same because that is the answer to that question. Where's the line between plagiarism and it not being plagiarism? That makes sense.
Well, did you come up with a solution on your own, or did you copy your companions? That is the difference.
We came up with it on our own, but how would you prove that you've done that?
Because your team leads will be able to tell, I believe, is the best answer. And because the solutions are never identical, I guess. So how would the team lead know? Like, I still, so.
I don't think I've explained it very well. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't find a great way of explaining it. It's all right. Forget about it.
I mean, the solutions are never going to be identical, ever. If they're identical, the chance is enormous that it was a case of copy and paste, right? If does that make sense?
Yeah.
But still, you can always cheat. The reality of things is that
It's not in your
You can-
interest to cheat.
You can always cheat, right? And there are situations where your team lead will catch you, and there are other situations where your team lead won't be able to catch you, right? You can always cheat. You can cheat your way through the entire program if you wish. Yeah, no job will be waiting at the end of that process because right? I mean, it's really the honor system. It's the honor system, really, because there are so many scenarios where we can't really catch you if you cheat. Right? It's just that I promise that it won't end well. It won't end well if we get into the habit of just, I'll give you an example. I'll teach you cheating techniques if you want. But I don't know. If we get into the habit of digging into your fellow students' GitHub, right? Because we're all pushing commits. We're all pushing commits to this working on the same project. So we can always spy on some companion's GitHub and see what he's doing and make minor tweaks to the code so it's not identical, so they can't catch me. We could cheat all the way through, right? But then what do we learn? We learn nothing. And we're not coders. We can't code, and we're not going to be able to be successful at any kind of coding challenge or interview process. So yeah, at the end of the day, it is the honor system because most of the time we can't catch you. The warning is there that if we do, well, we're not going to be happy about it because yeah. Yeah, but again, common sense applies. Common sense applies. Okay. Yes, agreed. Okay. All right, cool. Back to TK, and let me just go to Lambda fundamentals. Oops, sorry. All right, go away. Let's go back to Lambda launch. Values and mindset. Let's make sure there isn't anything else we really wanted to cover during this live section. Yeah, okay, I believe we're done. So here's your project for the day. If you're inclined to, when the time comes here, I'm in Spain, so I'm 1 hour ahead of UK time, right? So this is wrong. Project wrap starts at oh gosh, my brain is not working, at 3 p.m. right? And at 3:30 p.m. we have Lambda launch wrap with the head of Lambda here in the EU. Okay, so yeah, I'll be on the help channel, and I'll make that video for you guys, and yeah, and that was that. So what did you guys think? You guys believe this is the first time we tried this in the EU to give 3 days of simulating instruction for, I'm going to stop the recorder actually.